Boy, this is incredible. The research I picked up on this record, it just absolutely was smitten with this record. First time I heard it on Spotify about 3 or 4 months ago. Been jamming out to it for weeks, and put it on my fantasy playlist. It's a classic BPM. This song comes packaged with bright, shiny keyboards, just irresistible. Sweet aroma of 80s nostalgia emanating from the rhythm track, from the beats of this song. Reminds me a little bit of that song by Inner City, The Good Life in 1989. And there was This Is the Right Time by Lisa Stansfield, one of the best dance records ever that was not a big hit here in the States back in 1990. And some of those old Madonna records got that same vibe. Listen to this record real close. Got the same vibe as some of those old Madonna records like Vogue in 1990. Maybe Causing a Commotion a little bit earlier than that. And let's see, Deeper and Deeper back in 1993. Well, this is it. This is 80s and nostalgia. This is writing this record right here. It's just, whoo, boy, I just feel like I'm clubbing out in 1988 or 89 or 1990. Although I never really, not really a big clubber per se, but still, you gotta have a fantasy here and there, I guess. Bright Light with This Was My House at number 2 on my fantasy playlist, February 13, 2022. A.K.A. Rod Thomas, that's his real name. He's from Wales, but he's based in New York. He's on the forefront. He is an alchemist of the new disco movement, and which incorporates elements of synth pop, house music, and dance music. He put out his first record in 2010. He started releasing records in the 20-teens, early 20-teens. He toured with Ellie Goulding in 2010. He was a backup support artist, supporting her tour. And this was before Ellie Goulding had hits here in the States. This was back when she was starting out in England, having some success over there back in the late 2000s, early 20-teens. At 2013, Rod Thomas, he put out a single called I Wish We Were Living. That was from his second album. Elton John was on that record. This song right here, oh boy, This Was My House. This Was My House. He wrote this song after he talked to a friend of his. They were talking about his parents voted for Trump. And after that conversation, when he was going home or driving home, he came up with the song, he came up with the lyrics of this record about how a person has a right to feel safe when they're at home. And he wanted this record, it's not an angry record or anything like that. What he was trying to accomplish, he wanted this to be a unifying record. Not a record that, hey, this is your fault, this is your, he didn't want to come out with a record that was pointing fingers. And I read a comment in YouTube, quote, that he wrote this song as a love letter to the LGBTQ community, and quote unquote. But I take this as more of a universal record more than anything else. A mass appeal record, a surefire radio and dance floor grenade right here, ready to explode if given a chance. Because this could be played on the radio. You could club to this record. And got it at number 2 on my fantasy playlist. Peeked it out at number 2 on my fantasy playlist because of the number 1 record, which I'll get into maybe tomorrow night. All right, let's talk about the 80s and 90s angle to this record. This is the part, one of the parts I really want to get into. The record, part of the dynamics of this song is a tribute to Shep Pettibone. Shep Pettibone, one of the big producers, songwriters or DJs or remixers back in the 80s. He's worked with Madonna, Janet Jackson, Five Star, Erasure. I mean, all the who's who in the dance music back in the 80s. He's worked with them one way or the other. Shep Pettibone. Now, oh my goodness. Now this is the part that really got me about this record. Ooh, boy, I'm going down that time tunnel. I'm going down, baby. I'm going down that time tunnel. going down 30 years. 30 years ago. The two people who are singing on this record with him, backup singers for Madonna. They were former backup singers for Madonna, including Donna DeLory. Oh my goodness, Donna DeLory. She sang backup. She toured with Madonna for a number of years as a backup singer, but she came out with a beautiful, amazing record that never got played here in the States, but they played it on Hitline. It was part of one of Muzak's channels, Hitline. It was called Praying for Love back in the fall of 1992. Went to #1 in Japan. No impact here in the States whatsoever. But I was absolutely smitten with that record, Praying for Love. Just absolutely mesmerized by her voice and by her passion, the sincerity. It was almost like being bathed in an afterglow of, oh, hell of affection. I was in love. Then she came out with a faster record called Just a Dream back in the summer of 1993, which, by the way, was a remake of a Madonna record, Just a Dream. It was originally recorded by Madonna in 1989, but Donna DeLory, she did her version in 1993 with Madonna singing on it. So we got this record. I know I'm getting off off the subject here, but I can't help it. The other backup singer on this record, This Was My House, Nikki Harris. She was also a backing vocalist for Madonna for a number of years. She was in the Vogue video, one amazing thing, and this refreshed my memory big time. Back in the fall of 1991, an act called Natural Selection did a song called Do Anything. It was a huge record. If you never heard of it, you're probably too young to remember the record. Just check it out on YouTube. I'm sure they got the video to it. Song went to #2 on Billboard's Hot 100. She did the female voice on that record. If I understand it correctly, couldn't believe it. Backing vocalist with Madonna from about 1987 to 2001. They are both on this record. We have got ourselves an 80s and 90s celebration right here. It's like Three Dog Night once sang back in 1970. Celebrate, celebrate, dance to the music. Indeed, that's what's going down on this record right here. Bright Light with Bright Light. This Was My House. It's a great dance record. If you like that nostalgic dance music, give this song a listen to. Check it out. This Was My House. Although I think two other things real quick. #1, I think this song is a little bit different on YouTube than it is on Spotify. Slightly different version, I think. Sounded like it was a little bit different, but basically about the same. And also the formats for this record. BPM, dance, pop, potential pop. Once again, and I've said it before, if one is afraid to play this song during the daytime on a pop station, start on it at night. Rhythmic format. This could spice up a rhythmic format. Play it with the hip hop records and say this is Bright Light with a new disco record or dance record, and just throw it on in there. It's at #2 on my fantasy playlist, February 13th, 2022. Bright Light. This Was My House.